A very good morning to all our viewers out there. Welcome to our breakfast show on the community desk today, the 24th of May 2022. Welcome you to this platform, and it will be from this time 7 hours to 9 hours, and we hope you'll be interactive and you'll be really engaging as we discuss things that we've really prepared for you on this platform. To start with, we will get into our morning boost as usual, just to make us feel a bit, fit and exercise a little bit, given that today is quite cold. And get into our health segment with Dr. Mainga Nalube, who introduced a topic yesterday concerning the blood pressure. Today we're just discussing the signs and symptoms and complications of blood pressure. We get into this interview where we discuss the demolition of markets with our guest, Mr. Aaron Mwanza, who is the Henry Mwangankombla Ward 12 councillor. You must remember that the past few weeks has been characterized with demolition at Komesa Market here in Lusaka, and you'll be just diving right in the depth of that issue to determine really where the confusion and such complications are coming from. And you get to the second interview where we'll be discussing the teacher recruitment exercise, especially that we have now certain information that in the public domain, where the commission is actually suggesting that those with the age of 45 and above are not eligible to be recruited. And so we'll be having Mr. Tema Ngonga, who's actually Unit 2's Secretary General, to discuss this particular issue. And I'm not alone in the studio, obviously. I'm with my co-host, one and only Madam Zipporah Mshala. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Alex. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good.
Great.
And today we have a number of interesting topics,
Indeed.
especially in the second interview, when we were told that old teachers
in the brackets.
And so this has brought a lot of talk. We have
Indeed.
even human rights activists like Pilato taking to Facebook, questioning that is 45 years the new retirement age. The Ministry of Education should actually explain, because in Zambia there has been this problem of lack of recruitment for a very, very long time. And so if we're going to say maybe 45 years, is people above 45 should not get a job, are we really being fair? Or should we just leave it open to anyone as long as they qualify for the job? Indeed.
So we'll be having that with Unit 2s, and we hope that you're going to be interactive and just add your voice to this particular issue, which is actually in public interest, to determine to what extent does the commission really, did they mean it literally 45 is the retirement age, or maybe they have their own reasons. We get to dig deeper in that. But before we just get even more further, let's just take our first thing. For starters, that's a morning boss for today, and we hope you'll get along with it with Mr. Isaac Machisa. He's for you.
It's a beautiful morning, and I welcome you to Morning Boost. I'm so glad that you've tuned in and hope you had a great night. So let's do some workouts this morning, and we're going to have a great time. So we're going to start with a warm-up and then make some aerobics movements for today. Okay, ready? Let's go. A beautiful morning to everybody, and welcome to Morning Boost. Let's go. Go. And the V step now. Let's go. Last V step. Back to step touch. V step. Let's go. Let's go. And marching. And 4, 3, 2, step touch, go. Bring in your hands now. Let's go. Let's go. Just a quick workout in the morning. Not a full-fledged workout, no. Keep going. And 4, 3, 2, hamstring, go. Four, 3, 2, step touch. Four, 3, 2, and hamstring. And 4, 3, 2, step touch. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Keep going. Stay at it. Go. Easy basic workouts for the morning. And marching. Skip, jump now. Go. Let's go. Skip. Try this. Even if you feel heavy in your body, you can do this. Let's go. There's always a first time. You may struggle, but it's doable. Let's go. And 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Change now. Let's go. Very easy for a morning workout. Lift your knee very high. Go. Let's go. Stay at it. Stay at it. We're going to bring in a kick now from a knee high to a kick. Go. Go. Let's go. Let there be a blood circulation on your legs so that you don't have that numbness you feel at times. Kick. 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 Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Straight kicks now. Go. Straight kicks. Go in the sides. Okay, keep going. Almost done with our 5 minutes workout. Knee high. Try this every morning. It's gonna do wonders to your body. Let's go, we're almost there. All right, team. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. This is Isaac Matsa, your presenter. I'm gonna see you next time at the same time, and have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.
Welcome to our breakfast show. I hope you are following through that, exercise just to keep fit, given that it's quite cold. And from us, the studio, and also our studio manager, our floor manager, who are up to fit and just following through Mr. Isaac Machisa to make sure that when we come back, we are even sweating.
I even took a video of you, only that I can't share for other reasons. Are you exercising, isn't it?
Yeah, for security reasons. For in the interest of national security, we can't. Moving on. Disaster. Yeah, moving on, Zepoa, to our health segment, where we actually earlier alluded to. Today we discuss the signs and symptoms of the blood pressure with Dr. Mainga Nalube, who's going to take us into that segment. Let's just have her join us in the studio and be reminded that this specific segment is up for grabs in terms of advertising, and you can come through as a company or as a private entity just for publicity and visibility as an organization. And you can visit our offices right here in Kablonga or call us on the numbers that are scrolling on your screens to just declare that interest. That said, let's get to our health segment.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Mainga Nalube, and I'm with the Medical Women's Association of Zambia, MWAS. So this week, starting yesterday, we're discussing high blood pressure, or otherwise known as hypertension. And yesterday, we discussed what it is and the risk factors. So risk factors being those things that increase your chance of developing high blood pressure. So yesterday we looked at what it is. So we defined blood pressure as the force with which blood moves through your arteries or hits your artery walls. We talked about the three factors that affect blood pressure, which are the cardiac output, which I explained yesterday, your blood volume, and the resistance to the arteries. The other thing we talked about yesterday was the two types of high blood pressure. So we talked about primary and secondary. We talked about primary hypertension being the type of hypertension which has no underlying, which starts without any underlying or already existing disease or condition. And then we said secondary hypertension or secondary high blood pressure is high blood pressure that starts because of an already existing condition, disease, or a certain as a side effect of a certain drug that you're taking. So we also went further and talked about risk factors, and we mentioned that there are things that increase your chance of having hypertension or high blood pressure, things such as your family history. So we mentioned that mostly when you go to the hospital, they will ask you if you have anyone in your family that has high blood pressure, because that increases your chances of having high blood pressure. We also mentioned things like obesity, lack of exercise, increased salt intake, so putting too much salt in your food. We also talked about a high alcohol intake. We also talked about pre-existing diseases such as diabetes, kidney disease. So moving forward today, we're going to talk about the signs and symptoms and complications of high blood pressure. So before we go into what signs and symptoms we have, we'll start by saying, you know how everyone, you've heard that it's been said that hypertension or high blood pressure is a silent killer. Why do people call it a silent killer? Because you could go through life not knowing that you have hypertension and present with a very with a complication at the end. So if you don't have regular BP checks, especially if you have the risk factors that I mentioned, it means that you will go through life without knowing that you have high blood pressure. And this has complications that we'll talk about a little bit later. So it's very important that you have your blood pressure checked regularly. We've seen that in pharmacies, in your local clinic, we have blood pressure checks. Also, we've also noticed that every time we go to the hospital, the first thing that the doctors or nurses would do is something called vitals. So this is a vital check of, vitals are done when you first go to the hospital. And part of the vital check is blood pressure check. This is very important because we're trying to catch people with high blood pressure or low blood pressure early enough before they experience complications. So if you present with signs and symptoms, mostly these signs and symptoms are very non-specific. What do I mean by non-specific? I mean, when you present with these symptoms, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have high blood pressure. It could be anything else. So some of the symptoms that people present with are things like headaches, nausea, and shortness of breath. So you know when you have shortness of breath, it could be something else. When you have a headache, it could be something else. When you have nosebleeds, it could be something else. So the signs and symptoms that you present with don't always mean that you have blood pressure. And that's why the diagnosis of high blood pressure is clinical. So we'll go into looking at the complications, because I mentioned that most people who present for the first time present with complications. So why does high blood pressure cause complications? We mentioned that this is the blood pressure is the force with which blood moves through your arteries. So if this force is too high, it ends up damaging your arteries, and it could damage your arteries in any part of your body, in any organ of your body. So some of the complications that people experience are things such as, the most important one being stroke. This is because high blood pressure is the most common cause of stroke in our setting. So imagine presenting for the first time with stroke, and that's how we know that you have high blood pressure. That wouldn't be a good thing. So that's why we always need to have regular checks, have regular BP checks, so that we know if you have high blood pressure, there are things that we can do to make sure we normalize it and you increase your quality of life. So one complication we've mentioned is stroke. Another complication could be a heart attack, heart failure. If these arteries are damaged, let's say in your kidneys, the arteries in your kidneys are damaged, you could have renal failure or kidney failure. And then one of the other very important complications is a complication in your eyes. So hypertension or high blood pressure could actually lead to visual loss. So you could get blind because of untreated hypertension. So these complications I've mentioned doesn't mean that when you have high blood pressure, you for sure get these complications. No. If you have your high blood pressure checked and treated by a medical professional, you avoid getting these complications and you live a better life. Thank you for watching Health Corner. My name is Dr. Mainga Nalube, and I'm with the Medical Women's Association.
So there you have it. That was Dr. Mainga Nalube, who was just telling us about high blood pressure. And so Alex, what were some of your takeaways from this?
Well, for me, it's the last part which made quite, which was profound, the issue of vital measurements or vital organs being, tested when you go to any health facility. And the heart or blood pressure becomes some part of the vital organ that are measured. And so when you get to the hospital or any health facility, take keen interest in finding out what your blood pressure is, and so to determine how your health is. And that's quite profound, and we hope that people and our viewers out there made use of such information. Going forward, you'll take keen interest in just finding out, how your blood pressure is. Is it high? Is it low? Such things, basically.
Yes, and so just now we're going to take a look at the money market, Alex, before we start our day. And just a reminder, just like the health segment, the money market is actually up for sponsorship, so you can come through and sponsor the money market. Let's take a look at today's money market. So we have the United States dollar, which is buying at 16 kwacha 99 ngwe, selling at 17 kwacha 33 ngwe. The Great British Pound, which is buying at 21 kwacha 35 ngwe, selling at 21 kwacha 77 ngwe. The Euro, which is buying at 18 kwacha 89 ngwe, selling at 19 kwacha 26 ngwe. The South African Rand, which is buying at 1 kwacha 8 ngwe, and selling at 1 kwacha 10 ngwe. So Alex, there you have it, your money market.
Indeed, the buying side is it depreciated? We're seeing now
it's almost at 17.
Yes. So
it's just like one way.
Those are red alarms for us. But better yet, there's this financial expert, if not business expert who predicted that by December 2022 it should be at 10 kwacha, is it? Do you remember?
Yes. So by December, no, we've got, is it 7 months to go?
Yeah.
7 months to go.
And we still, maybe, miracles happen. And also looking at the fact that maybe the tensions on the global scene, such as the war in Ukraine, will be reducing down by then, and you'll be having these markets being normalized again. Maybe we might reach 10 kwacha.
Yeah, sure, hope so.
Dollar kwacha exchange rate. But still, the question has always been, are these numbers, being reflected even on the market in terms of commodity prices to the ordinary people? Because we want having a currency as a chidid and having prices is quite different things. So we must appreciate these changes, even the way commodities are going in terms of prices. But you earlier mentioned yesterday to say you've noted, on the market that some things are reducing, especially
such as phones, but not the everyday essential commodities. That's true.
And that's where the interest is really. It's about these everyday commodities which we use, such as mealie meal, cooking oil, where people can actually get to afford when they want to buy such commodities.
Definitely. Yeah. And moving on, we take a look at zooming the headlines. So Alex, yesterday we had a story from John Lane Market. From Old Sakala Market in John Lane compound here in Lusaka. So there's some traders, but this market really, if you go there, maybe you think, oh, it's a market, but it actually looks abandoned. And so the traders there are some traders there, mostly men doing carpentry, making pegs and other crafts. It's more like a craft market rather than vegetables, and because they're saying the land has allegedly been sold to an individual during the previous regime, and they're saying this is why most people have actually left. Like, they don't want to just be surprised one day and told, oh, leave, so they've left on their own. And so we saw the councillor, actually, Mr. Aaron Mwanza, who's the area councillor for that place as well. Yes, just speaking on behalf of the traders, and actually says the same piece of land has actually been identified as a place where they can set up a government health post there. Because it says the whole John Lane has no government health post. So they want to put up a clinic. And so you're saying and it was actually saying that donors...
So they want to get the land from the private owned, since it was sold?
Yes, yes. And so it's alleged that it was sold without using legal avenues. And so he also says, the councillor says that's also the only piece of land where a clinic can be constructed, and he says donors are even available right now from the UN, is it UN or something? Yes, so he says donors are actually readily available, but the issue is now the land is not available. So he says once the clinic is set up, so he actually says land has already been identified where those traders will be taken in case, in the event that the clinic is actually constructed. But then before all that, they have to actually get the land now. That's
but I feel, is it not going to be illegal again? Paying illegality with an illegality.
But so don't actually get it using legal avenues?
Oh, so meaning it can be traced back and maybe...
Yes, but the man actually, I talked to him, is actually in Eastern Province, and actually said he got the land in 2011 using all legal avenues, and even saying anyone who trespass on his land will face him, something like that. But anyway, before we preempt too much, let's just take a look at the story and we'll discuss in detail when we're back. This is Old Sakala Market in Lusaka's John Lane compound, formed in 1973 by the community and later handed over to the council. Wrangles have however emerged at the market, as part of it was allegedly illegally bought off by an individual in the previous regime, leaving traders in danger of displacement. The traders who engage in various crafts at the market have called for government intervention before they are displaced.
So akapanga munga tikutiwi muntu mozi kuti atenge market ino shisetavutika betanga twafuna chita so ivo veva plana wa government yoki vazwe ko tiperekako kuti tipeza kona sendrama ndimo tsingira vana mu so tsevenda so nyangane che vantu bose mwe basebenzera pako bati ngamati mone market muno ma shops ena vantu vanachokamo ni mlandu wa mine issue amene yakambati ino market yali kwa tomwe elo ino market yakale munchitasha waka kaunda takwali ama title deeds ero tatuishiwe pale inochita kusasanga fati umuntu ali kwa dama papers ya ino market.
As a community market, we need the government to come in so that maybe tanzila kumunjira sinangu zamene challenges are facing akuno. And in fact ngati mwangana mamene market ili bantu bonse wanachoka mu market wanatawira malodi kwenda kugurisira malodi malo mauti wazigurisira kuno.
Meanwhile, Harry Mwangankumbula wa 12 Councillor Mr. Aaron Mwanza further says there are intentions to build a clinic on the same piece of land as John Leng has no government health post, adding that donors for the same project are readily available.
And at the same place, there are marketeers who are still trading here. And they have got skills, some of them they are making what works, and we want to empower these marketeers, starting from them, because we have found another alternative place where we can take them, so to pave way for a clinic. It will change a lot of lives. Yes, and we won't allow such individual now to interfere with our plans, how we want to empower these people, because this market is for the community, it's not for an individual. In
a phone interview, Mr. Jackson Piri, who is the accused, has alleged that he bought the said land using legal avenues. He has further issued a warning to those who trespass on the land, which he says he bought legally.
We have to put things straight. Let's try to be a little bit, mature when doing things. Not because my neighbor is complaining to say, how can Mr. Piri buy that land? Zona batilekani zaku fightingirani. Ine nzaka mufaita as an individual, not as a councillor. Nzaka fightana as an individual. Sasa kwa nini sakunilipira drama? Mona.
Wrangles have characterized markets in Zambia of recent, necessitating calls for audits from various stakeholders. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. So there you have it. That was a story from Old Sakala market, just showing some wrangles, which are there. And Alex, actually, this also connects to our next topic. We are talking about different wrangles in markets, and we've actually seen many stakeholders even calling for an audit of markets due to the wrangles that have been characterizing these places.
It's becoming common, yeah? Especially Comesa, we've had issues to do with that, and also you've covered some other stories. What could be these tensions? Is it? I'm suspecting the change of administration. Maybe there was some things being done with the different administration, and then there comes the new one, where we see now some confusion. Could it be the reason?
No, actually, this began a long time, but then it's only now that people are speaking up. I've covered a number of issues. Even last year, the
it's now that they feel like to speak out.
But now people are speaking out, but these issues have always been there actually for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Let's just dive right into our first interview, where we officially now opening our phone lines, and the numbers are scrolling on your screens. And you can join us on Facebook, where we're streaming live, and add your thought on this particular topic. When we get back, we'll be discussing the politicizing of markets in our country, and thereafter we'll be going to another topic. But for now, we should take a short break. When you come back, we'll be actually inviting our first guest. Stay tuned.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amid these uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple. Lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilo. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage, and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Welcome back to our breakfast show. Now we get to our first interview where we discuss the depoliticization of markets in Zambia. And obviously you've noted cases which are pertaining to this topic, and we get to interview our first guest, Mr. Aaron Mwanza, who is the Harry Mwangankumbula Ward 12 Councillor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Alex.
And welcome to our breakfast show once again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're welcome to the studio, Mr. Mwanza.
Thank you.
Last time we checked, we had a very intense conversation on Chibolia compound and how you intend to, bring about, sanitation in the compound. Maybe before we jump to this particular topic where we discuss the markets, give us a quick update of how it's going in terms of your ward.
Yes, so far so good. We are heading to the right direction of bringing sanity in the community, especially the common known Chibolia compound called the ghetto. Mm-hmm. Yes. When we came into power, there were a lot of issues that we found in terms of people complaining about the phone being grabbed from people just passers by, selling of drugs anyhow, even in the streets. But through engaging people, these who are into drug abuse and also those who are selling drugs, mm-hmm. I think we have seen that we can say there is a trace of a change. We can count if when we are coming in, it was 80%. Now we have reduced to maybe to 60%. So if we take this route further, we can see Chibolia a better community for everyone to live in. Yes, and with the help of other stakeholders who have come on board, it's really a promising approach that we have taken to change Chibolia and the other communities such as Journaling. Yeah.
Great. And now we'll be just, getting to review some of the stories that we compiled to just give a context of what we're trying to discuss today, which is the presence of politics even in our markets in Zambia. And we get to review this story, and when we get back, we'll just jump right into our topic. Stay tuned.
The International Labour Organization, ILO, recognizes the informal sector to be the predominant economic activity in Zambia, accounting for about 70% of the country's labor force. Out of this, a large population is made up of traders, as data from the Zambia National Marketers Credit Association Zanamaka shows that the country has over 3 million market traders both in markets and on the streets, trading in various commodities. Due to this, market space has always been a battle, leading to the rise in street vending, which is also prohibited. Traders at Lusaka's Komesa market using makeshift stores say they have been left stranded as they have been accused of obstructing legally constructed shops and also occupying land meant for a road reserve. In this vein, they have called for alternatives such as the construction of more markets, stating that trading is the only means of survival.
So it's like banyamata bativuta maningi tinaenda kuri ba honorable Garinkombo banabwera ba Garinkombo batuma phone pamenso pa bantu bonse banakambati muze ni namugala asa aleke kusebenzesa ba UPND kada ainde through council mwaona bakanso ndiye bazazi bakozi ni road ya bakanso ni malo ya bakanso that's why mnaona banapwanyisa uku bakanso basi ya uku kuti uku ndiye kwa mni kumatenga bakanso malevi na drama ya yoyorera vishala mu market ndiye kwa mni bamatenga bamadipidisa ma 5 kwacha yoyorera chani vishala so ba honorable banakambati banamugala endani chani through council ndiye za kupasani chani direction so that musebenze bwino not yako bati mwafika che mwambo sebenzesa ba UPND card kuyambo pukanya mashop y'abantu nanga kukauka riot bizankala branch bana mugala tinaona ati bamvera but tichoka cha bekuja kuri ba honorable tinadabwa baje abantu bachita continue kuchita chani kupanya mwaona so isetidabwa so apa bantu bazi movingina beka kuti bapezeko podiera bapezeko posebenzera abana mwaona ka
so tunaenda tilipile mashops yao wanapeza kati ya zura wapasa ma foreigners beka sema Zambians zilipe koeni tilipera pausinga tantike so tapemba kuti kazi tibajubileko kuchikupa kwawo tisaleko na mawa 2 meters olo ma 1 meter kusogolo ku tizikulisirako pazidyerako bana chifukwa tilibeko oyenda na bana kubapereka tilipo betisungani bambiri kumanyumba so pamene apo ndiye pali tifuna batitandizire ba government batilanganirepo pali mashops takamba tivendezeko tikeko tuma 2 meters kusogolo tizikulisirapo na ize tizipezera kupodyera bana ndiye problem yamene ili kuno
kuteromba kuteko kuti wafuirishe kupanta tapale ko tuli afwe bamtusunga bana banshi opo tulishaba ko twalira bana ku school so if not fumako kuchikupa kumya ko not umpera ko 2 meters funa fuvene not selera ko mlodi so therefore government itwafuirishe kupanta pale ko tuli ama market yali isula tapale ko tuli atwa papa
ino line ya bazima ibambira ni wakulisa mena ngolbe bamuna bapezi ko mino mena ngol mawidozi bapezi ko mino so kamba na bebe tinauza kansi tikusile nkontu meters tishuke ku offense yanu makontena tiafendeze muti tiende ko mroad so inapezeka kuti kali mkwangani andi mwampambo na ifitapite ngasukura baba itsachika pipo komeza na tentkile market mkati mnazula konse ma shops bapasa abantu aya ma shops yonse futhi ayina abantu kulibe komeza ndatikulisi so ndipameta kamba kasitipendeze chetende mroad so tabasiya 2 meters sho kuchikopa chao tapo ya road mfimo pangia makontena kamba tipeko kulisi.
Meanwhile, Area Councillor Mr. Aaron Mwanza has responded, stating that the construction of more markets to house more traders is underway, such as Tokyo Market, which is expected to house over 2,000 traders.
Because there are many, and if we move them out from Comesa now, they will start mushrooming now, even in other streets, Lumumba and the likes. So what we want, we are open, as well waiting for Simon Mwalen to open, we can try, and even in Tokyo Market, we can try to shift those people to there, but not now. We've told those marketeers now just to change in terms of reducing the size of their makeshifts in order to accommodate also Namgala to trade. But we're hearing that some people are coming harassing those marketeers. We shouldn't harass marketeers. Those are our people, and let's give them time. And there is a procedure. No one should come and harass someone. There is a procedure, a council procedure, which need to be followed. It is not an individual who is supposed to remove someone from the market. The market is being run by the Lusaka City Council.
Stakeholders have been suggesting that there is need to audit markets if to have a clear picture of what is on the ground and to find long-lasting solutions to the same. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
There have it quite a sad story, and the marketeers now stranded, asking where they can go with their goods. Mr. Mwanza, first give us a preview of really what led to that point at which now, these shafts are being demolished.
Okay, thank you very much, Alexander. Yes, so, first of all, I want to explain that as the Zambian government, we have got the act that governs the running of the market. This is called the Act number 7 of 2007. It's called Market and Bus Station Act, where the local authorities, they are mandated to man or to land the market. In this case, who are the local authorities? The local authorities includes what? A city council, a municipal council, a town council. So in this case, Lusaka City Council, which is a local authority mandated to run the markets in the whole Lusaka district, they are the ones who are supposed to operate markets according to the law, the act, that the way it guides it. Those markets that are owned by the government. For instance, there is the same act. There is the Act number 162, 8, Section 1. It says that a local authority shall demolish a market or shift it to another place with consultation from the ministry, not an individual. So I want to connect now to the scenario, what is happening in Comesa Market. Where those makeshifts were standing, it is called a reserved lot for and it's being managed by Lusaka City Council. So the local authority, if you want to move people, there's a procedure. First of all, we have to find where you can take them and follow the legal procedures. That's why we have got legal.
Before we get to where to find an alternative place where to take them, in the first place, how did they find themselves there if it was a reserve?
Yes, no, we are coming in from the previous regime where people were being allocated anyhow. But those people, it's not only from the previous regime, it's even from MMD. They've been there from 2005. Okay, because commerce, I know the way it is made, the people are designing their own stores in a container form. So those marketeers, about 22 of them, they've been there from 2005 up to now. And the one who is claiming to be our own land came there to establish what? A shop. No, it's earlier on it was a shelter, a warehouse for ourselves, yes. Then later on, I've seen that a lot of people now are coming in to bring what to bring shops, building shops in Comesa. Or else it is a cross-border market, whereby the way they have designed their stores, and no one, if you get a permit for a warehouse, you should apply for use of change, land of use change. You have to apply, and most of these people have not been following that procedure. Find that from a warehouse, then they build what shops. Then you want to chase people who have been there from 2005. They haven't followed. If you follow, go to the City Council, planning department, legal, housing, all those. These procedures have not been followed. So since someone has got money, you want now to take advantage of a poor person who cannot even know the procedure of how to do it. So these people were put by, during MMD government, then PF, then now we are UPND. As UPND, as we are trying to say we want to bring sanity in the market, we have already brought in that we don't want to allow politics in the market. Because market should be run by what? By the local authorities. So now if you bring politics in the market, bring that revenue collection will be what? Will be affected. So in this case, we have been preaching about not bringing politics. So now, I don't know how this private owned car individual came in and demolished without even engaging with the Lusaka City Council. And these people are affected. And later on now, to the extent of using some of our members who are selfish, and that one won't allow it. And the president is very clear that we should do use the approach of what we call human right-based approach. What do we mean? Human right-based approach, we should approach people by following their rights as human beings. You cannot go and demolish someone's property, even if it was under the Lusaka reserved right. You go in at the middle of the night, there are goods inside, you demolish. Are you a human being? You need to have what? A heart for people. So this is what has been happening. Yes, we know that they are there illegally, but as a local authority, Lusaka City Council, there is a way how we engage these people until we give them what? An alternative place. Yes.
Great.
Yes, definitely. And so, Mr. Mwanza, I remember that was, we did this story in 2 days, so I'm sure the next day we actually went back and did the exact story you're talking about, where that named political official actually illegally demolished the market store. So let's take a look at that story from 19th May on illegal demolition. This is what is left of 22 market stores that were constructed on council land at Lusaka's Comesa Market, as they have allegedly been illegally demolished by named political official who feels that the stores are obstructing her newly constructed shopping complex. Area Councillor Aaron Mwanza explains that the Lusaka City Council in April 2022 demolished some makeshift stores in the said area which were constructed on a road reserve after the owners were allocated space in the Simon Mewa Lane market, which is almost complete. He, however, explains that those on the other side were allowed to continue trading by the council while construction of markets is still underway. A wrangle has, however, emerged after the former Deputy Speaker Catherine Namugala allegedly arranged for a private demolition exercise of the said shops, as she feels they are obstructing her shopping complex despite them being located 2 meters away and being on council land. The traders explained that they woke up to a rude shock Thursday morning as they found their stores demolished and their goods with thousands of kwacha missing.
Netreda wakuno wamene bakwanira chameta chidabwisa nchako watitenze be notice tswana tuzapo video voice tapeza dabati ma container bakwanya chameta nzwana tuza kuchapa na mugara nchako watitengene mu shops yao pamene tena nda kulipira ndrama kuja ku shops kwao tinapeza ati ma shops bapasa matanzaniani ise kuno kwenzeli be alliance wane bana pasako. So it's a challenge that we no notice could be video voice and then two kachabe roxent pesa tima container bakwanya and then mwenza na makatundu mu container sina pesa ko saka ya katundu ro emozi stiz bana kone kuri katundu ya tu bano so banisika ero manje bakwanya usiku tena kenzo choka kuno mairo kuma 19 bena ngobenzo choka ko kuma 20 makatundu yonse yenze ko bilo bwendo kukucha lelo ine nafika kuno kuma 7
na mono lo mkomesa market muje basi atuma 1 meter tuma road mae veta mpasa kona ule mtamsira 2 meters kuchoka ku office yake but stiumo akadi kusebenzesa baja bantu kuchachani kupwanya kupeza bapwanya makatundu mwenze mavovala ma jean trousers ma blankets ma slippers ma goods yonse kulibe kaya na kwa mene vaenda maona ka so ise tinkala ni chankala ni choti dabu isa kutinanga ni chani bankala na nzeru zaso
chana tinaona cha next naona beba bwera mantu bake bamba kutipwanyira ise titamangira manje kuchibani ku office tite report tinaona be confusion up until now boro pesa mungalero ndikwanya vonse na makatundu yatu ya soba simbi zama santezo yuzinga kupanga ma containers tina space so tifuna na mgala shwa bwera tiuze tavutika tibeko enda
Area Councillor Aaron Mwanza, who was with the traders, has expressed disappointment at the act.
So now we have reported this matter to the police and want the police to act and apprehend everybody who was involved in demolishing what these makeshifts, and they are going to be responsible to compensate these people. And for now, we don't have anywhere we can take these what marketeers. They will be here until we find an alternative place. You can go to Lumumba Road, Chachacha, Freedom Way. It's full. We are trying to decongest the streets, but not here. Here it's better than going what? If these people we move from here, they'll go into Lumumba. And you know the situation in Lumumba Road, it's very catastrophic.
Meanwhile, when contacted for a comment, the accused had this to say. Yes, I was saying this is Zipporah from Camnet.
Who do you want to speak to?
Madam Namgala.
What about?
About the demolition of those market stores there at Komesa Market.
So what has that got to do with you?
I'm a journalist and the councillor says those people have been, the demolition has been done illegally.
That's I think that should be a private matter, Mama. That's not for public consumption.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
By broadcast time, the traders were knocking at the gate of the said complex, demanding for their property. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Quite an interesting story for me. It's wow.
What does that got to do with you as a journalist, Alex?
Can you imagine? Before I get to Mr. Mwanza, I would love to get your response. Really, how was that? You ending an interview with her?
Because as journalists, we're the watchdog of society. I'm sure you know that we're the fourth estate, and so we have to expose wrongdoings. But of course, we have to get the side of the aggrieved parties as well. But then you find that in an event where there's about 22 market stores, Mr. Mwanza, am I correct?
Yes, yes.
And these people actually have families, and they were illegally demolished. They're not on her land; they're on council land. In the meantime, before the construction of markets, it's complete. But then I don't know if it's a matter of feeling like the stands actually obstructing her shop or something, but those shops were illegally demolished. And when, as I said, it's a private matter, it's a public matter because it has been done on council land, affecting families. So really, it is
getting to speak of legality and also, you know, the issue of sanity in the business center and also the market. I want to find out something in terms of the private-owned structure. Would you say it was legally constructed on the premise that it is?
Yeah, I may not say that because we have been trying to engage her to see the documentation. But we should there is a procedure, a change of land use. If you, for instance, you have bought...
in this case, we're talking of a warehouse.
Yes, it's a warehouse. Then suddenly you have built shops to take advantage because there is a market without following the procedure. It's an offense. But we have to follow. We cannot say that what she did is wrong, building shops. Did she follow the right procedure? She can answer by herself. That's why we're trying to engage her, but she's not cooperative. So, commercial market, as you may be aware, it's a cross-border market. And there's a procedure. There's a structure which is the new commercial market board that they have put in place. We've been engaging them. They didn't follow that procedure, but now they're following the right procedure. So similar to many people who are building in commercial, they were not following the right procedure previously, in the previous regime. So now we are trying to engage them. We shouldn't displace people. Some of these people, they're coming from various countries. They come here to trade. They find that someone has a warehouse, the net town changing, put what shops, then forcing those people to go inside to start renting from those shops. I don't think...
Don't you think the traders are obstructing the premise, the road, given that it was quite close to the parking slot? And isn't the European administration in this regard, in this particular case, promoting, insanity and illegality?
Alex, what we want to do as UPND is to bring sanity. But in the terms of bringing sanity, I've already spoken earlier on, we should respect the human rights. Respect our people. The same people are the ones who had put us into power. There is a procedure. We have to follow the right procedure. Before we bring sanity, we should find a solution. Where are we going to take these people? We are talking about markets. How many markets do we have? For instance, Simon Mwaren Market, the new Simon Mwaren Market is not yet open. We intend to open it very soon. So when we open it, we want to bring sanity, not only in Comesa, but the whole CBD, Chachacha Road, Cairo, what we remove some people from the street and take them into these markets. Similarly, city market, it's 95% done. Soon people will start being allocated there. So we're going to do also a scrutiny. There are those people who are trading the city. They've got stores in the city market. They've got market shops spaces in city market. So make sure that we take them back into the market. Then equally, we have, as the Lusaka City Council, under the Department of Housing and Social Services, of which I'm a member in that committee, yes, we have proposed that the Tokyo market should be constructed along Ring Road. This Tokyo market, according to our plan, we're going to engage the ZNS to build that market. It will accommodate about 2,000 plus market yards. So if you look at the number of 2,000, and with the recent report we conducted research, there are about over 3,000 vendors in the CBD. And most of these vendors, they are of a foreign origin. But when you construct like...
Most of that number, 3,000, they are not Zambians?
They are not Zambians, yes.
Wow. Yes. Still, yes. 75%?
And not they've been coming, I'm sure that's for the immigration, though.
Yes, we can have immigration. But
it's quite interesting as well.
Our concern as the Housing and Social Services Department is the way the CBD is becoming, and also when it comes to public health, it's catastrophic because we don't have toilets. So that's why under Health Services Committee as well, of which I'm also a member, we are also planning to bring toilets. So we have engaged a sanitation company called Simply Sanitation.
Oh, wait a minute, you want to bring toilets closer to the vendors, street vendors?
No, in the streets to bring sanity. For instance, even if we say...
Isn't that going to be convenience for them and they feel comfortable?
No, we should accept the situation now. We should accept. The vendors are there. So now...
So we're bringing out convenience facilities.
It's a temporary measure before we come in. But if we let them the way they are, they're just throwing fecal matters, whatever, anyhow. And our people are cleaning the city, they are also facing challenges. So if we do that, at least at a level of bringing sanity in town, it will also help. But we are talking about, it's a long-term process of cleaning the street. That's why, if you are aware that when Minister of Local Government toured down, we said we should start with Cairo, then coming Chachita Road. Why? It's a process. It is a plan, because when we open Simon Mwewe Market, those people, some of them, they will be pushed to Simon Mwewe Market. Then when we open, when the Tokyo Way Market is constructed, then you would want to clean the whole streets, including Lumumba Road and Freedom Way. So as we are waiting, when we engage this campaign, is to help these people as well. They are trading. So what can you do? Make them comfortable.
I'm actually interested in the same Tokyo Way Market. When do we expect to see maybe construction begin? And why Tokyo? Why not Ring Road Market? Why not Chiwolia? Why Tokyo? When I go to Tokyo, am I going to find the, what do you call it, the Karingaringa Market there? Really? So just when do you expect the construction to begin? What's the projection? And why Tokyo Way Market as the council, maybe? Are you able to answer that?
Yes. It's a Tokyo Way Market. No, the Ring Road, it's called the Tokyo Way Market. Though it's Ring Road. It's a Tokyo Way Road. So the name is derived from that way to Tokyo Way. Yes. So constructing of this market shall start at the end of this year. We are in the process of sourcing funds as a local authority. The way of sourcing funds, for instance, when we open Simon Mwewe Market, there will be offer letters that people will be paying for this market. They need to money that we get from that market. Then you can use it to construct other markets. So that's why I want people now to go into to start trading the markets, because as long as people trade in the markets, the revenue collection will maximize the revenue collection. Hence, you build more markets and decongest the streets. Yeah. So we are encouraging people to find spaces from the local authority land market, to help the local authority to construct other markets. Our agenda is to construct main markets by 2026, so that we decongest the city. We want our city to look clean, and so someone else who comes from outside of the country to admire it. Yes.
Indeed, it's important. I feel we should do that fast in terms of time, because we'll be hosting the completion of the Mlungushi, conference center, which is actually at the KK now. Yes. is underway, and when completed, we'll be hosting some summit, which will now attract other countries, and they find the CBD is quite in that state. So don't you think we are buying time, really, in bringing about this sanity by the European administration? How are we chasing time?
We aren't buying time. We are really planning. We want to plan so that when we start when things start happening, they will happen systemically, and we are not rushing. If you don't plan well, you will crash. We want to build a base, a foundation, where will the money come from, how we're going to plan. For instance, if you talk about Chiwolia, we've got also a plan in Chiwolia of maybe 50 meters away from Chiwolia. We build commercial stores and engage the people and be allocated somewhere else, because Chiwolia is near the CPD. All those are the plans we have, but we cannot just start minus knowing where the funds will come from. We are at the process of sourcing and even engaging other donors who are willing to come and support. There are many donors who are willing to come and support our program and our agenda.
Indeed. Talking of the politicizing the markets, do you feel there are still cadres in the markets, or there is still the presence of heavy politics in the markets? As a councillor in that word.
Yes, I would say 90% there are no cadres. The 10% cadres are there. But who are these cadres? They are the ones who are trying to frustrate the agenda of European of no cadresism in the markets. And this is the opportunity that other political parties have taken to try and frustrate the agenda of UPND. These people, most of them, they are from opposition. They would want to portray that they are from the ruling party in the core of trying to bring what confusion in the markets. And we have identified them. Some of them have been taken to police, and we cannot mention names here. So, and we are warning them, if they continue, the president is against what this bad cadarism. He didn't say no to cadarism, but bad cadarism. Cadarism is, we are supporting them, but bad cadarism. If you are a UPND supporter, when you are found in the market, you are trading as a trader. Operate as a trader, not victimizing people. If you are PF, operate as a PF. If you are DP or any other party, as a Zambian. So that's the situation at currently now.
Yes. Talking of the current situation, we had in the stories that these marketeers and traders were in the process of being, their shaft being cracked down. They even lost some goods. How is the situation now?
The situation is bad because
they couldn't retrieve the goods?
Yes, they couldn't retrieve the goods, and they've got nowhere where they can trade from. So now what we have engaged, we've engaged the ministry, and the Ministry of Local Government is...
but really, how so? How possible is it that the country retrieved their goods? Have you tried to probe, maybe undergo an investigation?
Yes, the issue has been reported to the police, so we are waiting for the police to do their work. So we can't do the work with the police. But for me, as the area councillor, what we will do is to make sure that these people continue trading for now at the same place. We find a means of even putting some tables so that they can continue, because they've got families. They've not been trading for the past 2 to 3 weeks now. So that's the way, the help we are going to give them. They will continue trading from there, as we are trying to find an alternative place for them. Or if possibly, since the Tokyo market and other markets will take time, we can design the kind of stores that we can place there without inconveniencing Madam Namugala there, because we gave her about 3 meters, and if from our property where the shops are as well, it's about 2 meters. So if you give a space of 5 meters in the CBD like Lusaka, that it's a big space.
So you intend to increase the meters?
Yes, we've already done that, but to our surprise that she's not even appreciating.
She just wants you completely.
Yes, but we won't allow that, because we need to care for people. We are going to work to fight for these people so that they continue trading from there for now until other markets are built, of which we are on the process of doing that.
Oh, great.
And so, Mr. Mwanza, recently we heard a comment from Mr. Axon Sinjani, who's the Local Government Service Commission chairperson, saying despite cadarism maybe being put to an end in markets, we are still seeing that local authorities are not able to bring enough money. So according to the Local Government Service Commission chairperson, Mr. Sinjani, you're saying this money is, there's some pufferage of these funds in one way or another. So do you feel that maybe, for example, in your ward, are markets completely run by the council? Or do we see maybe some influence of maybe UPND members in the markets? Are they independently run by the councils?
Yes, I'll answer in this way. Markets now, 90% are being run by the council. But there are still some lacunas of which we want to work on those. For instance, the other way of want to operate the markets now is to go cashless. Okay, these people, cashiers and other market masters, not to handle cash, but using cashless. So we've engaged some companies to come on board so that we help. They help us, like Kazan and many people. So this is the issue I want to bring in the next full council meeting. We have to make sure that the issue of maybe Kazan and other issues, they can be passed in the full council, so that when it passes, then we go cashless, and this will really help to maximize in terms of revenue collection, and it will also avoid the issues of misusing funds. Yes, so that's the way we are going as local authority, as Lusaka City Council. So we hope other local authorities can emulate from us what we are going to do, and this will really change in terms of collecting what revenue, and we won't have issues of unpaid council worker for so long time, maybe 3 months. It's because of the same issues that we've been facing previously. So the system will be controlled, will go cashless. That's our next step.
And how soon do we expect maybe the same project to be rolled out?
I think July will start, yes, by July, yes, because focus will be maybe in June. So by July, the going cashless will start the program of going cashless, yes.
Okay, there are also some allegations, Mr. Mans, for example, maybe they are at COMESA that, because I know that COMESA is run by the council and the Is It Market Committee?
Yes, yes.
So there are some allegations, maybe you can just clear the air, where there's some sentiment saying the market committee is actually made up of UPND cadres. Is that true, or are those just market traders?
You know, a market committee is not made up of UPND cadres. Everybody who trades in the market is eligible to be in a market committee, but it should be comprised of at least 7, but not more than 11. So meaning that between 7 and 10 people. This is a market board committee. Yes, yes, and there is a procedure that is followed to appoint those market committees. So we get people within the market, the traders themselves. They elect themselves, and later on come up with a board.
What's the role of the committee? What are some
yes,
of
it's to look at the affairs of the market. For instance, if we have got Rangos, they will be the first people to report. Yes, yes, and also working hand in hand with the council workers. Because
do they collect levy?
No, they don't.
They don't handle money.
Yes, they don't handle money.
And also, maybe there have been concerns. For example, we now know that is it Ben Bellarod, that the former PF secretariat is now owned by UPND. And so we had a story last month, Alex, where we were with Mr. Benny Hanchombwa, who's a UPND member.
Indeed.
And so he was actually following up some allegations that maybe some UPND members at the secretariat are actually interfering in the operations of the COMESA market, giving themselves land. Are those allegations true?
If there is an allegation, you have to report to the police, because the president says no cadreism. That is purely cadreism if someone is doing that. So if there is someone, must be reported to the police. But as far as I know, as the councillor, there are no such issues of unless amongst the marketeers themselves. Whereby, you know, there are wrangles. Even in the compound, there are land wrangles. Those wrangles in the markets are always there, but not involving the UPND members. No. If there is anyone, report such a person to the police.
And some people have also been questioning, maybe like, should the UPND secretariat, one of the secretariats, actually be positioned at COMESA when that somehow defeat the purpose of ending cadreism, given that all they have to do is come downstairs and they're in the market? Don't you feel that somehow defeats the fight against cadreism in markets?
It's not COMESA, that is Lusaka House. So
yes, Lusaka House should it be located near? Why can't it be another office? You guys move somewhere else? Okay, there have been those questions.
Are they going to be tempted to...
the office is there, but
the money
they won't interfere. It's about how disciplined you are.
Okay.
Yeah, so
do you conduct maybe audits to find out how the traders are doing, if they're not being interrupted by those guys and all that?
Yes, we've been doing. Yeah, so that's how I've mentioned that there are some who are hiding the name of UPND, but others, they are not our supporters. Some of them have been arrested. Yes, so the issue of being near the COMESA or whatever, it can't change the agenda of UPND of no cadreism.
You're quite confident.
Yes, yes.
Well, we are having a conversation of the presence of politics in our markets, to be specific, COMESA market right here in Lusaka. And we'll be just having a short break. When you come back, we'll continue with our conversation with Mr. Mwanza, who's the area councillor. Stay tuned.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple, lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilo. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Your love always brings me back.
Welcome back to this platform where we're discussing the depoliticization of markets in Zambia. And in particular, we're discussing the issue of Commensa, which has been persistent for some good 3 weeks, and traders have been left, stranded, given that they were trading at an area which was reserved for council, and now their trading areas were demolished by a said person, a private owner of a warehouse in that particular place. Now, continuing that conversation, really, going forward, you've told us that you'll be putting up tables to ensure that they come back to sell. I'm curious, what are they doing now, the traders, and how many are they?
Yeah, so there are about 25.
25 traders.
The spaces were about 25, even more. Because some of them, they were maybe in one store, they are even 2 or 3 trading in the same store. So there are a lot of families which have been affected. So since the past 3 weeks, they have not been trading. So I want to engage them to avoid them, maybe to go back into other streets like Lumumba and other roads. Yeah. So want just to.
So where are they currently? Are they still trading some place or maybe home? Are you in touch with them?
Yeah, we are in touch. Most of them, they're saying want to go, we will go in the street just, but we have encouraged them that it's not the best solution. We are also finding a solution. Some of them, they are trading there, but they are being inconvenienced by the same people. But as today, we've engaged them that they can make the small tables that they will continue trading with, because if we just stop them completely, it will be.
They are there right now with tables today. They're there as we speak.
Yes, as today is what I've told them that they should be there. So from here is where I'm going to check the situation on the ground. Yes.
Then the table is not going to be turned, upside down by the
towards now.
But they said, I'm saying you are in this battle which is not ending. Have you tried to engage the other side?
Are you receiving a positive response, for example, say from the police? Because, for example, if they're going to start selling, their goods have to be returned to them. Because I remember that day when
and also, how safe are they really, Zipporah? Because this is a situation which have prolonged for 3 weeks, you said. So if they're getting back without you establishing, a positive response from the other side, the person who owns a shop, an established shop, that for that matter, how best to ensure that they are safe and they're not pounced on them once again?
Yes, we've engaged the police. That's why we put the matter to Central Police, and the police, they will do their job. So, and we trust them, and they have to do just a correct job to protect our people. These are our people, their main families, and we shouldn't demean them. Yes, they are also human beings, they've got families. We need to protect them indeed. So we have engaged the police. And if there is anyone who would try to temper them, then the police will come and protect these people. Yes.
Great.
Definitely. And so, Mr. Mwanza, really, we're talking about this, like Alex was mentioning, because the same day when you came there, we found that their stores had actually been demolished by alleged cadres. So I think really maybe what measures have been put in place to make sure that their safety is actually safeguarded. Even to avoid the issue of harassment from cadres, maybe some more of their goods actually getting destroyed. Really.
Yes, it's what I've mentioned that we've engaged the police. So if there is anyone.
But how quick are the police in acting? Because you are talking about lives, and also as time goes, really, their businesses were actually suffering, they're actually being negative. Like how positive or maybe how quick would you like the police to act on the matter?
Yes, they should act quickly because, you know, the goods of people were destroyed. And even these makeshifts, people use money to buy those materials. So the police, my appeal to the police is just to quicken the process of investigating the matter so that if possibly it can be taken to court, but the possible compensation can be given to these traders. Because even if they didn't, the procedure wasn't followed, so it's illegal. So if there's an illegality, the one who has done an illegality has to pay for it. Yeah.
And talking
that's the law of law that we have been preaching. So the police have to act quickly.
And talking about your word there, which is Harimonga Nkumbule, there's also another pertinent issue, along Ben Bella Road, about 2 weeks ago, Alex, when a passing by actually found an incident, maybe away from the other issues, found an incident about, is it three weeks ago, I should think, where some people actually apprehended for phone snatching. So how is the situation maybe in terms of phone snatching there in your constituency? Previously we saw you were engaging some youths in terms of maybe benefiting from CDF through cooperatives, but how is the situation there right now? Because we've seen that some of these crimes have actually continued.
Yes, the crimes have continued, but they've reduced because we have been engaging these youths who have been into the same act. The reformed youths who have been transformed from being someone abusing drugs to an ambassador. We call them ambassadors because they have been into drug abuse, and now we have engaged them even to change others out of drug abuse. Yes. So we have advanced in terms of the process of changing them. So far we have engaged about 100 plus youths. We are targeting about 200 youths, even more than that. And when these youths have completed the program, we also want to work with the Zambia National Service so that they can acquire skills from Zambia National Service. And we've had a very good interactive meeting with one of the officers from the Zambia National Service who are in charge of skills training. Yes. So this, I think it will go a long way, and it will help even other compounds, because it's not only Chiora now. The issues of grabbing phones and junkism is not only in Chiora. It has gone into many other communities. We may talk about Mrs. Charisa. Many issues of junkies are rampant now. Yes. Okay,
very profound. And maybe you can just give your concluding remarks even as you get ready to wrap up the topic.
Yes, thank you very much. Our message out there that as Lusaka City Council, and particularly the Housing and Services Committee, want to change the way the market has been running and improve and bring sanity in the city. Our target is in the coming 3 to 4 years, we'll see people trading at a designated place, and the buses parking, loading, and offloading at the designated places, as well in the view of building main markets. And also in issues of, I'll talk generally about the issue of CDF. Let's utilize CDF. The residents from various communities should utilize CDF because it is our money. And the ward development committees, they should also work hand in hand with the community, sensitizing the community how they can access CDF and how CDF can change the lives of people. CDF can really transform the lives of people if utilized the way it's supposed to be. So that's the message. It's the only way how we can actualize and improve our community. If CDF is being actualized collectively, and timing need to be very quick in terms of actualizing what is CDF. Yes.
Alex.
Yes, there you have it. Mr. Mwanza Aaron is the councillor for Harimonga Nkumbula Ward 12, and we've been discussing the politicization of markets in Zambia, in particular Comesa market, which has actually seen eventful moments with the traders they are being, their makeshift being demolished by the said cadres, and also just the issue of being stranded and the presence of politics in the markets. So thank you so much, Mr. Mwanza, for coming through. We appreciate your coming and basically what you've put up to this particular show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so just take a short break, and when we're back, we're going to be discussing the teacher recruitment exercise. We saw some sentiments from the Ministry of Education stating that those who are above 45 years old do not qualify in the current teacher recruitment exercise, and this has actually raised divergent views on the matter. So take a short break and join us on the other side.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple. Lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Your love always brings me back. Oh, we testify. We celebrate.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
We testify. We celebrate. For all you've done, Lord, we give you all the praise. Oh, we testify. We celebrate.
Thank you for coming through, and we get to another segment that we prepared for you. Here we discuss the recruitment of teachers, and I'm joined in the studio by our second guest who will be introducing later on. Right about now, we just play a story just to set a conversation and tone on this particular topic of recruitment. As you may know, there are some settlements over the age that was actually put up over 45 people who are above that age are not eligible for the recruitment. So I get this story particularly commenting on that issue. Stay tuned and let's have a look.
The Teaching Service Commission recently announced that it will not be confirming acting head teachers and their deputies across the country appointed by the Ministry of Education and their agencies, except for those appointed by the Commission. This has, however, angered the National Union for Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, who feel the decision will greatly affect the education sector, as those affected have been acting in these positions for several years and have sacrificed a lot for the positions which they have never been paid for. NUPEZ Executive President Victor Muyumba said this to the media in Lusaka Sunday morning.
But when we thought we are making progress, a statement is made that all such people, all those that received these letters from the ministry, should consider themselves as people that were simply wasting time, because their acting appointments will never be confirmed unless those that have letters from the Commission.
The union has since called on the government to quickly issue Treasury authorities to ensure that the new Ministry of Education structure is operationalized.
Now, we are calling upon all stakeholders, and what we mean by all stakeholders, we mean the Teaching Service Commission, we mean the Ministry of General Education, we mean the Public Service Management Division, and the unions, to ensure that the structure of the Ministry of Education, which was approved, is funded so that it is operational. We can't continue running Ministry of Education the way we are running it now. There's chaos. There's chaos out there.
And the education system in the country has, since the UPND administration took over office, seen a number of changes, among them the introduction of free education, as well as the promised recruitment of 30,000 teachers in 2022 alone. While the efforts are appreciated, the union says it is a disastrous the way the UPND administration is handling the Ministry of Education.
Upon the Minister of Education to make the position of the ministry clear, whether we are continuing with this automatic progression at grade 7 or not. And if we are continuing, let him explain how he expects the junior secondary level, in this case grade 8 now, starting grade 8, to manage these numbers and probably the levels of literacy. Let him just explain to the nation.
And the union says it is disappointed at the government's decision to U-turn on the agreement that it needed to upgrade over 10,000 teachers who have advanced their studies to high salary scales before beginning the recruitment of the 30,000 teachers.
When we were doing negotiations last year, we agreed that such teachers must be a priority before the 30,000 are recruited. And our estimation was that about 10,000 would have been upgraded. It was last week when it was being reviewed that the sitting in Chilanga only upgraded 1,500. What happened to the collective agreement? What happened to the negotiations outcome?
Among other things, the union also urged the government to consider engaging local solutions in creating accommodation for the teachers, with plans to recruit the 30,000 teachers underway. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet News.
Thank you for joining us, and that was a story from NUPEZ Executive Director Mr. Victor Muyumba was actually joining us in the studio. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming through.
Good morning, thank you.
Yeah, so maybe just before we get into the age aspect in this ongoing recruitment, maybe just shed more light of what the bone of contention was in that presser that you held last week.
Okay, this presser followed the statement from the Teaching Service Commission chairperson when she was addressing head teachers in Lusaka. She mentioned that those that are enacting appointments made by either the head teacher, the DEBs, or the PO will not be confirmed because they don't have the authority from the Teaching Service Commission. To the commission, authority is when they write to you to act. If they haven't written to you, that appointment is now and void. That was the statement. And we have thousands of teachers that have these letters from the head teacher, DEBs, or PO. Thousands of them. This is because the ministry and the commission from time to time do undertake agreements where they will say, for example, as a commission, will delegate the duties that border on human resource management to you, Minister of Education, because you are decentralized. You are found even at school level. We are just found but in Lusaka, according to the commission. And education would make these appointments. They would appoint people to act. Then later on, they are confirmed by the commission from time to time. So when this statement was made, it was alien, it was strange. Not only that, but it is an abuse of human resource. It is bordering on unfair labor practices. There's no way you can have a letter written by these officers you have mentioned, and then later on you say you've just been wasting time. Because at that particular point, government is committed. The head teacher, the DEBs, the PO would have committed government by writing that letter. And this is an innocent teacher who has taken up that particular position. I'll give an example. In some cases, a teacher who is in, let's say, Monze, in town with a family. Then the DEB says, there is a school about 50 kilometers from town. It's in the bush. You need to go there to head the school. And this is a promotion. We are writing you a letter, you go and act. This person leaves the family in town, goes to act as head teacher at that particular school. And years on end, no confirmation. Somebody is waiting to be confirmed, then the statement comes to say that particular appointment is now and void. So that's what we are trying to react to. We are urging the commission to rethink. We are urging the commission to avoid that path, because it will bring about a lot of issues in the education sector. And I called the chairperson on Saturday, just before the presser, to find out if they would be in office on Monday for further engagements. But she told me they were out of town, or out of office, but once back, they would let us know. These teachers have done so much. They have worked for this country, and they are doing so much still, and there's no way they can have their morale dampened just like that. This teacher did not write this letter for themselves. Someone in management did. So if there's confusion, then it's a confusion between education and the commission, which is supposed to be handled by the two institutions. So that later on, a way forward is found. And our advice to the commission is to again call for a meeting. They can sit in Chiranga, because Chiranga is central. They can sit in Chilanga, call all the district educational board secretaries. They need to come with files from different districts. Files containing those appointments that were done by Ministry of Education, so that they can be regularized, so that they can be validated, so that they can be normalized. Using the letters now coming from the commission with effect from the time those were issued. That's the only way this story should be dealt with, and not the path that the commission is about to take or wants to take, because will not allow them to take that path anyway, will not.
And also adding on the same issue, again, there's this new issue from the Ministry of Education where they've said teachers who are above 45 years old do not qualify. What are your thoughts as MPs on the matter?
Yeah, according to the advert, they made it clear that those above 45 years are not eligible. So only those that would be turning 45 by the time they are getting deployed. And I think this is in sync with the National Pensions Act. For you to qualify for a pension, for example, under NAPSA, you need to have done not less than 180 contributions to the scheme. And when you calculate 180 contributions, you are talking about 15 years. It means you would have worked for not less than 15 years. Now, if your retirement age is 60 and you are 47, it means you have only 13 years to work.
But such reforms or maybe such acts, are they not unfair to citizens? Given that maybe for a long time we've not had recruitments, and now when there's massive recruitment, some people do not qualify. Should there be maybe some reforms to, especially that also sit on Federation of Free Trade Unions, which is the labor union?
Yes.
Such acts should actually be reformed.
No, I think the act itself is fine, because here we are looking at permanent and pensionable jobs. They are not contractual jobs. A contractual job, you can even be 60, because a contract may run for about 3 or 5 years. Thereafter, you retire. But here we are looking at permanent and pensionable. And definitely in each and every recruitment industry, you will find these age limits. They are important for a number of reasons. In some cases, it may border on the number, the kind of work that you are going to do. Also, the kind of structure, the laws that you have that govern that particular industry. And in this case, for example, we are talking about National Pensions Act, which is NAPSA, which brought about NAPSA, because everybody that is going to be recruited is supposed to start contributing to NAPSA. So if the Act has given a certain minimum number of years you are supposed to serve, it means even recruitment must be within that particular cap. Outside, it will be outside the law. So on this one, I think we can't blame the commission. And I don't know how many people out there are 45 years old and have been waiting for recruitment since the time they got out of the college or university. Because in most cases, anyway, normally, between 22 and 27, one would have graduated from either college or university. So it means these people have waited for almost 20 years without being recruited. They finished their colleges and universities in 2002, and they have just been looking for employment.
Let's just invite our viewers out there that you can be able to contribute actually to this particular topic. We are officially opening our phone lines and we're discussing the age limit that was announced by the Teaching Service Commission the other day on the issue of 45 years and above. What's your thought on it really, and how would you want things to go forward from this? Mr. Muyumba, my question is, why now that it has now brought about attention from the people, why didn't they react, after seeing the advert? Because the number 45 was there in the advert, as you earlier alluded, but why has it made noise, now? What could be your analysis?
No, as Zambians, in most cases, because government hasn't given us a lot of things to do, so we are not busy. And anything that one takes to town, you know, making noise about.
But I mean,
we also make noise about
this
it.
conversation, even when the advert just came.
Yes, because we expected the complainants to have complained at the time when the advert came out.
It at that time.
But it took the commission to
That's
say
the attitude of Zambians. Zambians don't really
that
read.
people who are 45 years and above, you are not going to be
No, not 45 and above, but above 45.
Above 45.
Yeah, so one who is 45 is eligible.
Okay.
One who is 45 is recruitable, because we have about 15 years to wait. But one who is 46, we have 14 years. And according to the Act, you are not one who is pensionable.
So does it mean these people got Facebook is actually flooded? Human rights activists, people going live. Does it mean that maybe speaking out of ignorance of the National Pension Act?
Yes, they are. And I don't know why there's so much furore and fuss over this thing. Because if tomorrow Home Affairs is recruiting, let's say, police officers, they will put the age limit between 18 and 25. They do that. Do we complain? And there are reasons for that.
For these jobs to have
Maybe
age limits.
the sectors.
Good.
Maybe the sectors will differ because we've seen, you know, consecutive and also systematic of recruitment in the home affairs sector, in the security sector. But when it comes to teaching, really, we've seen some years haven't been active in terms of recruitment. Don't you think one would graduate from a training institution at the age of 30 years, and then they can possibly wait for 15 years, which has been, you know, lacking any tangible recruitment?
No, I think the last intake right now should be somewhere 2015, 2016. So
which reference are you?
The last recruitment, you know, remember the commission would be putting the range of years to say this recruitment is for those that completed between this year and this year. Meaning anyone who completed after that,
possibly they were 30 years.
Pardon?
Possibly they were 30 years.
Yes, but we are talking about 5 years ago. We are talking about 5 years ago. So we don't expect anyone who finished, for example, in 2015 is still at home.
It's Mr. Mumba, there are many who I know personally who are still at home.
Who are 45?
Well, not 45.
That's a good one. That's a good one. They're almost in their 40s.
Yes. If the situation of unemployment is serious in Zambia.
Yes, it's serious, but in the education sector, to tell the truth, I think it's for the past 7 years, that recruitment has not been done. Now, it means, yes, we may have a lot of challenges where maybe one does other things before they go to a college or university, and maybe by the time they're graduating, they are 35 years old. Now, 35, we add 10 more years. We are talking about 2012, 2012. Do we have anyone who completed in 2012 and is still at home?
Yes, we have.
Then there should have been a serious problem, because even when the government was recruiting last time, there wasn't anything like 2012. It was, I think, about 2015, 2016. Because the understanding was that anyone that was out of college or university before that particular year had been recruited. And there are no complaints. So we don't expect one who completed their program in 2012 is still home this time around.
Okay, and another concern that has come along with the recruitment is the issue of teachers' houses. Just here, talking of Kablonga girls and boys, Alex, last month we saw the teachers' houses which are dilapidated, they're almost falling apart, but teachers are living there. So do you feel maybe enough has been done to make sure that these teachers actually have decent housing, maybe even as well going to the recruitment of more teachers? As a union, what has been your observation?
You are very right. And there is an acute deficit of housing units when it comes to Ministry of Education. Now we know, and this was one of the issues that we raised even in our presser, We know that government can't do everything, but triple P has to be made use of.
And what is triple P?
Public-private partnership. We are even lucky, Zipporah, here in Lusaka, that one can rent a house maybe in Chilenje, in Idibala, near Kablonga.
You have a call, Mr. Mimba. Just a minute.
Let's just have that call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Yes, kindly speak up.
This is Andrew Marabo.
Indeed.
I'm calling from Kablonga.
All right, your contribution, sir.
Yes, I want to give the panel of the.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes, I just want to contribute on the matter said
Mr. Muyumba.
Yes, he made something. He's not so sure. People from he's trying to imagine that people from 22 may have been recruited. Well, that's not it. The case is that people in 2005 who are not yet. So you see there is a gap, and this is why you notice that out of the 1,000 we have 100 jobs for that. So if the government gets that from 20, from 05 coming up to 16, maybe they should start those people who education or India as the start at because it should be clear. I think we have that was considerable. Yeah, I think in the recruitment side, they want to see want the government, including me as the president, to assist in terms of, we cannot now in a situation where people from even though yes, the of course, tax 35 and a half. They are not who vote for because people are trying to taxes. It's not their own, it's not the government. They are not for a long time. They let that they say no about what they country. They tell you these are the policies. It can be revised, and if anyone wants to do it for 5 years, probably because the business has to be the.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
A response to the call, I don't know if you're able to get.
Yeah, I think he said something like we still have teachers that graduated in 2005.
Yes, 2012, 2005.
2005. No, I don't know. I also graduated in 20, I don't know, that was 2004, somewhere there. Now, I can still be unemployed for a number of reasons by government in this case. Maybe I might have been in the private sector. Are you getting it? I finished my course in 2005 and I've been in the private sector for all these years. To an extent that maybe at times, even when government advertises, I don't apply. But I'm sick and tired. I've been probably harassed, intimidated, abused in the private. Now I want to switch off to government. Then I make that application. That you understand.
Oh, we have another call, Mr. Muyumba.
Maybe just hold on to that.
Oh, we actually lost. Okay,
continue.
Okay. Yeah, I remember at some point before the recruitment was decentralized, we were recruiting from headquarters. In 2012-13, we were literally looking for teachers because the number that was required at that time was not there. Those that had applied were less than the number of teachers required. We had to stop and start re-advertising for people to apply. That was in 2012, 2013. Meaning at that time, nobody could have complained about being left out. So what happened? If people finish in 2012, 2005, they are not still employed. Well, what could have gone wrong? Every year, before that time, recruitment was taking place. It's, I think, for the past 7 years or so that recruitment of teachers has not been enhanced. But before then, recruitment was taking place almost every year. At some point, it was predictable that this year they are going to recruit 5,000. Next year they recruit 5,000. It was just like that. And by 2012, I was part of those people that sat scrutinizing their applicants. We had to start looking for people in provinces.
So many, it is that point where people would have taken advantage of.
Yeah, so we expect anyone that could have finished before that time to have been employed at that time. But I know there are a number of reasons. I'm talking about those that might have been in the private sector. You know, they say, I think I'm okay, I work with this man, but along the way, things get out of hand, then you decide to get back to government. Yes, we can understand that those probably completed way before the time we are talking about. Not that because there was no recruitment, no. These numbers we are talking about have graduated within the period, I think, between 2015 and now. Between 2015 and now. We haven't seen much teacher recruitment. But before then, we had recruitment.
Okay, then as we get towards concluding, Mr. Mimba, another issue which has come along with free education is maybe the lack of desks. Before, we used to see some people in rural areas sitting on the floor. And then now, how's the picture now that we have free education? Do we see enough desks? Do we see quality education, so to say, even as we introduce free education?
Thank you so much. Even before I get to there, allow me to exhaust the thought on the accommodation crisis. Remember, it was cut short. Yeah, there's an acute shortage of housing units. And this is what government is supposed to be wasting time on now. There are a number of people, even in rural areas. I said here in town, one can easily access accommodation. They can rent. There are a number of rentable houses in Lusaka because people are given housing allowance. Now, you send me to a place where there are no rentable houses. This is a rural place. Even if you give me accommodation allowance or housing allowance, is that housing allowance going to enable me to find shelter? It will not. And it is the responsibility of the employer to provide accommodation. We have a lot of people with money in these rural areas that are able to partner with government to say, for example, come up with simple but decent housing units for government workers. And this is how we are going to work. For this period, you need to recoup your money that you would have invested plus profit. Thereafter, as government will take over these housing units. And this is what we should have been encouraging people to do. We have other developers, big institutions that are able to move in, provided we give them a good offer as government. They are willing to move in. We can't continue like this. That's why we have a lot of teachers coming back from rural areas. We don't have enough teachers there. But how do we retain them if we don't have houses for them? We need to move in. Now, coming to the issue of the desks, yes, even during our presser, we talked about that issue. That due to free education, these classrooms have been overwhelmed. Teachers are overwhelmed. You can imagine teaching 100 plus children in a classroom. And we touched on the issue of automatic progression. Remember, at grade 7, right now, there's nothing like cut-off points. One simply moves from grade 7 to grade 8. So you can imagine the levels of illiteracy and also the numbers of the children that will overwhelm the teachers. So this is where the minister right now is supposed to make a progressive policy direction known. That this is how we are going to move going forward. not the way things are. Otherwise, if we are going to do business as usual kind of operation, it will be disastrous going forward. Yesterday, the Minister of Finance bemoaned that CDF for the first quarter has not been disbursed, but it's there because of rules and all that. So I was wondering, oh, so the minister didn't know that he needed to clear the pact before money is disbursed, because you need to have time limits. This time we disburse the money, by this time the money is, taken to the people. So, I mean, we need to be moving systematically. When you see the minister who is in charge of finance complaining, then you wonder, who is going to make things work? So this is why we are saying these funds by this time should have already been used to make desks and other things. Who is making it difficult to make use of those funds? We need to quickly make use of these funds so that we have desks, we have classrooms in these areas where the children are. Otherwise, we'll never talk about quality education. We'll just be talking about education for the masses.
Okay. Even as you, what are your concluding remarks, even as you wrap up on the show? Maybe it can be on the recruitment and just the education sector overall.
Overall, it's high time the Minister of Education called for an indaba for stakeholders in order to look at how the education sector can move forward. Because a country can't develop without a vibrant, effective education system. And that's what we need in this country. We talk about the two-tier education system where we have the academic part and the vocational part or skills part, if you like. But it's not there on the ground. And that is an ideal education system that we are supposed to have. So it's not too late. The minister is supposed to call for an indaba for stakeholders to put their heads together in order for us to have an effective education system for the development of not only individuals but also the nation.
All right, thank you very much. Alex?
Mr. Victor Muyumba is actually the NUPE's executive president who came forth to actually discuss the topic which is actually going around the social media and also the mainstream media on the age limit that the commission announced the other day. So we get to just close, and due to time, we will go direct to our concluding remarks by Explore.
Yes, so this is where we come to the end of our program. Earlier on in the program, we are joined by Aaron Mwanza, who is actually Harry Mwangankumbula, our 12th councillor, discussing the depoliticization of markets, and we are later joined by the NUPE's executive president, Mr. Victor Muyumba, discussing the teacher recruitment exercise. So this has been Zipporah Mshala and Alex Shimba. Join Patrick Soko and Sharon Kalimbula tomorrow as they take you into politics. From us, it's good morning.